Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today I'm filming here in the living room because of this little fella. Our lovely dog Indy, the wee man himself, simply couldn't be left alone and was insisting on being near me this morning. And normally I don't work that far away from him. I just work through that wall there. In fact, through that door. That's my office. I leave the door open. He stays here on the sofa. I, email, edit, film in there, and normally that's enough. But this morning, he just wanted to be touching my leg, basically. So rather than tripping over him all morning, I decided to come through here. He can chill out on the sofa, and I figured I'd take this opportunity to talk a little bit about just how wonderful he is and how grateful I am that he's part of our household, part of our family, and how in some ways he quite literally saved certainly my quality of life, if not in some ways my life. Therefore, just by being, Indy has changed my life for certain. And I've talked about Indy before, actually in very similar circumstances. There was a morning where he just wanted to be near me. I ended up talking about how he came to our family, how he was a rescue. We think he might have come from a household where there was some physical violence, perhaps. And certainly there was a strange episode with a random guy on the street who was convinced that he used to own Indy, and Indy seemed to recognize this guy and was terrified of him. So, I mean, check that video out for more context there. But over the years, Indy has gone from being a very quiet, very anxious, very nervous dog to being a far more content presence, far more happy just to chill, far more happy actually, in fact, to vocalize. He's now more than happy to sort of, to burble along at any given excuse. Okay, ready, and go. And you go. So he I think has had a good life with us, and I'm so happy that we're able to, in that sense, help him come out of his shell. But it's also worthwhile saying he is probably on the beginnings of a decline, if not halfway down that decline. He has cognitive problems. Doggy dementia, some people call it. He's definitely going blind. He's got sort of cataracts. He can see light and shadow and shapes, but he bumps into things quite a lot now. His hearing might be going, but also he is a little old man, and sometimes it feels like it's selective hearing. Like sometimes he'll just choose not to. You go, come on, we're going now, and he'll be like, oh, I'm comfortable here. No, and you go, come on, and he goes, So yeah, he's a little old man, and we adore him. But a few years ago, I was going through some stuff. I've talked about this in other videos, so I won't go into it in too much detail here. But I was stressed. I was suffering PTSD-like symptoms. I would have fits of anger. Frankly, I would anger at myself for the most part, or at how I was feeling. And obviously he was sensitive to this. He knew, and unfortunately, when you're in those moments, and a dog like Indy is behaving as though you're going to do something very violent when you're not. He's sort of going, oh no, I better get out of your way. It can annoy you even more. So you're like, what do you think I'm going to do? Why do you, what's your problem, kind of thing. Which on a couple of days, if I'm honest, had cycled, had got worse and worse, to the point where I would just have to have him in another room. I'd be in a room trying to calm down or focus or meditate or something, because he would feed off my anxiety and become anxious himself. Dogs are very sensitive, and they want to be safe, but also they want to be part of the group, of the pack, if you want to call it that. And so if he doesn't know why this anxiety, because there's nothing happening, there's no noise, there's no one else in the room, there's no other dogs or sounds or smells. He doesn't know what's going on, so of course he just starts to mirror you and starts to display anxiety, and so there were days like that, but he just kept on. He kept on coming back to me for love and support, and to support me. He's so gentle. He can be so gentle in touch. Often if my arm is just sort of resting here on the sofa, he'll just rest his head in the crook of my elbow. If I'm sitting here often on the floor, I've always sat on the floor for one reason or another. I just like it. Watching TV or playing a computer game, he'll sleep in the corner of the sofa here and put his nose right against my back, and just it makes my back very warm. But he just wants to be there. He wants to be near me, which is I mean, oddly, it's it's kind of difficult for me to even say that, because of some of these aforementioned childhood problems that I grew up with. The notion of him wanting to be near me. Near me? Why did he want to be near? For a long time I found odd. But he did, and I like being near him. And in that sense, I wouldn't say that he's my fur baby. He's not a child. He's not my child. In some ways, he feels a little bit like something in between an uncle and a brother, if that makes any sense at all whatsoever. He's part of the family. He is our dog. He is my dog, but he's also Indy, and so it has been difficult seeing his decline. And so as much as I'm making this video to talk about how he has helped me with his steadfast love and patience and okay. Sorry about that. That was our neighbour arriving home with his extremely loud engine and industrial-sized sound system. Joy. Exactly. The dog size. But as much as he has been there for me, with support and patience and fun and playfulness and curiosity. Face me and fight like a true Jedi. You have learned much, young Padawan, but you are not a Jedi yet. Maybe you are a Jedi. Well done. Let's play fetch. And the need to go on walks and explore, have adventures, sometimes be sick, pee and or poop in random places in the house. Often because he's, he doesn't do it, he never does it on purpose. Often it's just because he's poorly. We're now in a time where Mrs. Soup and I, have to be there for him on this downward trajectory. Occasionally he'll have night times where he'll just be in a total panic. He'll be completely inconsolable, seemingly confused as to where he is or especially what time of day it is. He'll want to be downstairs, thinking somehow it's daytime, and why are we upstairs? He'll be wide-eyed, panting, pacing, and it's times like that when you just wish, as I've so often said, I think I said in my previous video about Indy, you just wish you had language that you could communicate verbally with him and just say, it's okay, it's okay. But those moments are few and far between, and on mornings like this, I think he knows it's okay, simply because of how we are around him and how we do accommodate him, because it's our honor in that sense to look after this little guy and to make sure he continues to have a good life. But I need to acknowledge it is approaching its back end, its back quarter perhaps. And to that end, a little while ago, I had a portrait done of him, one of these online services where you can send in a photo of your pet and they'll put it in a Regency costume. So Indy is like a dapper gentleman on the wall in the dining area, just above the dining table, along with our wedding photos. So he has such a special place in our family, and I love him. He's just wonderful. He really is. I think something I would say is that I am concerned about if and when he goes. When he goes, it's going to be weird living in the house without him. It's going to be weird working. For example, today my lovely wife is at work in town. It's going to be weird working without him in the house. And I suppose the reason why I'm pointing that out is that I don't want to rush to just get another dog. You see what I mean? I know my lovely wife is eager to maybe get a dog now that can be his friend, and then will continue to be with us as and when he goes. And maybe that would work. Maybe it would. But it's one of those weird things where you don't want to be thinking, you don't want to be imagining what the end will be like before it's even here. I think just being aware of the fact that it's coming is probably enough. And until then, I'll keep on being there for him, just as he has been there for me. Even though at times I've been having very difficult times over the past few years, several years. What a guy, eh? The dog named after an archaeologist, named after a dog. Indy is a true hero. Anyway, guys, hopefully this has been interesting. At the very least, you got to see a sleeping dog. And I shall leave that dog to sleep. And until next time, do take care. Bye-bye.